Yo, what's going on? This is the youngest in charge, Leon Slater, and you're listening to the Sports Jedi Network. You get me?
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
I'm Tom Hannafin from TNA Wrestling. You're watching the Jedi Sports Network.
Tune in to Heel of the Ring podcast on the Sports Jedi Network channel. May the sports be with you.
What's up, Kevin? It's me, Miles Bourne. I just want to come on here real quick and say thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, and the fact that you're there every Tuesday really means a lot to me.
Hey guys, this is Elena Black, and you are watching Sports Jedi Network.
This is AJ Francis, and you're with Sports Jedi Network.
Sports Jedi Nation. This is BX Sports Jedi Kev. We are back, and you already know. Welcome to the Sports Jedi Media Network, and welcome to another edition of Total Nonstop Jedi. The smoke has cleared from your TNA Lockdown, but last night, Thursday Night Impact was live, and the war did not stop. We had championship history. We had new alliances. We had new enemies. We had surprise arrivals. And we have it all here, so we're going to break it down, unfolding here. There is still a mystery unfolding in TNA who's attacking people in the back. All of that and more with the Total Nonstop Jedis. Let's bring around the horn the Jedis who are with me, the one and only from PGH, Chris from Pennsylvania. Salute.
Salute, salute. Yes, crowning of a new champion, debut of a new knockout. We got a lot to talk about here on this TNA Impact review. So I'm excited to get into it with you guys. A lot of good stuff going on this weekend. So happy we get to, throw some TNA in there, before crazy weekend. So happy to be with you guys. Let's get to it.
Yes, and we have speaking of inaugural, we have an inaugural champion. We have a new sponsor to the program, and it comes from Mr. Haas Knuckle Brew. But he always gives you the word of wisdom, and here he is.
Good afternoon, everyone. And our new advertiser is the Wolfpack. You could join us at wolfpack.com. It is a luggage, backpacks, lunch bag, and apparel company. If you use my promo code BellCowHoss, that's BellCowHoss, BellCowHoss in all caps, you will get a 10% off of all the new collections that are on wolfpack.com. Wolfpack, WOLFPAK.com.
Because he's too sweet. You know. So, guys, please check it out. Of course, don't forget, we're also fueled by G Fuel Energy. G Fuel Energy. Use promo code PGHChris and save 20% off. And as Blackout Coffee, wake up, stand up, never back down. Go to Blackdown Coffee and use our promo code SportsJedi20 and save 20% off. And of course, Dude Wipes. Stay fresh, stay clean, stay match ready. Dude Wipes in the Sports Jedi Network. We're wiping out the competition. Gentlemen, the lockdown post fallout. My goodness, this was a live show that TNA, when they're live, there's some type of buzz behind it. They start immediately with the Nemeth brothers. The Nemeth brothers open up the program. I know Chris is very friendly with Ryan Nemeth on the social media platform. And it showed up, immediately picked up the chaos of Lockdown, Nick and Ryan Nemeth celebrating over the victory over the Hardys, which made them, again, new TNA World Tag Team Champions. And the victory gave Nick Nemeth a remarkable distinction that you only one other person in the whole company, and that is Kurt Angle. I love the reference when they get in the ring and they made that reference for Kurt Angle, or when Ryan Nemeth says, let's put the list of people that have done this accomplished, a long list of laundry lists, and then it's just one name, Kurt Angle. Chris, I know you've been the TNA. You're the more TNA historian in this group of us three. When you saw the Ryan Nemeth, I think everything he does, he's hitting it on gold, bro. What's your thoughts on that one when he made fun out of that whole Kirk Angle and only one person?
Yeah, I like that. I think the commentary, Tom Hannafin, I think it was specifically, he did a good job of saying that on the commentary at Lockdown after they won the titles. So I liked it. And again, he's bald. can't forget about that one. He is bald. That you know, Ryan Nemeth has to let you guys know that. But no, this was a good opening segment. Again, I'm not gonna get too far into it right now, but I think Leon Slater, I like what they're gonna build this feud to Bound for Glory for a while now. I like how they announced the match at Lockdown. That gives us plenty of, you know, TV time to get this match built up. And I like how now that they had the tag team titles, they could use that to build the match up with Ricky Sosa. So I like it. I'm curious to see if we're gonna get some type of tension with Ricky Sosa and Leon later on, but I like that they're challenging or want to go after for the tag team titles. It's more really to get at the Nemeths and hopefully slow Nick down before Bound for Glory. But I liked it. I had no issue with this opening segment.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it right to Haas. We saw that Leon Slater come out, but then he spoke to the crowd and reminds Nemeth that Lockdown he has option C to relinquish the X Division title, exchange for the TNA opportunity. As Slater was going down, you saw him saying that he wants to be the youngest, and he looked at the little kids. You know, so if you remember him, and if you saw him in the aisle, he looked at the two young boys, young kid, and said, "You like kind of encouraging. You could be young at your age, young. Think of becoming a champion." Did you like the message before Ricky Sosa and before and also as a casual viewer, did it hit home explaining how he got a world title shot?
Well, first I would say that's the proper way to put over Nick Nemeth as a very special champion in the business. Because as me, I'm as the youngest viewer, well, not by age, by like just watching TNA. They put over Nick Nemeth like this to make him a big deal, a big attraction, and you're gonna link him with Kurt Angle. That's a very big thing to do for new viewers coming to watch TNA, linking him to such a legend in the wrestling business. And when it comes to Leon, he was really putting over like you say, the youngest in charge, really highlighting those kids and saying, hey, you could be just like me because I'm not that much older than you. You could be the next big thing here in TNA. That's really putting over the business, showing that they are going through a youth movement. That you show the difference between Nick Nemeth, the big veteran in the game, and the youngest in charge, and Leon Slater. This was a great dynamic to start your show off. I agree with it completely.
Yeah, very good. And of course, he comes out. He is not alone. He's going to get company for Ricky Sosa, and he goes, we have not been defeated as we teamed up. First, I thought it was Matt Hardy, but no, they brought Ricky Sosa out. I said, okay, good. I could see that where look, they're in Bringington, Canada, Ontario, Canada. They're going to be there they're doing TNA tapings tonight. They did a couple tapings there. So about 3 to 4 weeks, the next 3 to 4 weeks, they're going to be in the same location. This is where TNA hurts a little bit because we know that certain people are not allowed across. And we saw that by the vignette. I don't want to jump a little bit ahead, but we saw the vignette where the Hardys, where Jeff Hardy was going away in the ambulance, attacked again by this mysterious person, and Matt Hardy went away. That's a way of taking him off television without saying he cannot cross the border. So they did a good job there on that. But I also seen, so this is where Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater team up. Haas, I'll go to Haas and then I'll go back to Chris. Do you think there's going to be dissension by the end of the month between Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater not being eye to eye? Because I don't think they'll capture the tag team titles.
No, if anything, they'll say they're probably stronger apart than they are together. Because I just cannot see either one going heel because they're just too big of baby faces in this company. And it just wouldn't benefit Leon Slater going heel at all because he's going to be the face to Nick Nemeth's heel. Ricky Sosa is going to be the head of the X division more than likely. And they already have enough heels when it comes to the mid card. So there's no reason to change Ricky Sosa's presentation. So I don't see them having any dissension. They may have a match to just say who's the better of each other, but I just don't see them just fighting each other, getting mad and anything like that.
Yeah, and Chris, do you think they're trying to recapture like Javon
Evans and Rick and Leon, kinda, because I mean they had a great match at Bound for Glory. They kind of had their tag team there, and they didn't really have real animosity or real hate for each other. And hell, it was probably one of the best matches of the year last year. So I think this could definitely be something like that. But I agree with Haas. Don't change Ricky Sosa's presentation. He is, with the whole bang bang Sosa, that really hasn't even given. I don't think TNA has given that time to breathe. I don't think they've given Ricky Sosa enough time to really breathe and give him that Leon Slater push. That when Leon Slater got the push at Slammiversary that me and Kev were at, I think they need to see what they got with Ricky Sosa, have him again, like Haas said, be the face of the X division. And then I think if you want to try something new, if he's still there, go ahead. But I agree with you, Haas. You can't change these guys' presentation. But right now, specifically Ricky Sosa, because he's just getting started.
Right.
You got to protect him more than anybody, in my opinion, because there's rumors that Leon's walking out the door after Bound for Glory if he loses, especially. We're going to have that same thought we had with Santana. Nick Nemeth is already established.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Sosa is the guy here you want to make sure he's protected because he's your future.
Right. And he represents two different demographics. He comes from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
He also he represents a younger demographic that you want to bring into TNA because, again, I know I'm the one that always alludes to the demographics that's watching wrestling today. They are trying to get a youthful experience into the demographic. They say the youngest in charge with Leon Slater. Ricky Sosa is also part of that. They want to get the demographic down to like 18 to maybe 35. Of course, you already have your 50-year-old being locked in. You got your 40-year-olds locked in. They want to get the people that are outside more and on social media more to be locked into TNA. And guys like Leon Slater and Ricky Sosa will lead the charge on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's why they're bringing that's why they brought guys like BDE into the company, because they want to reach that social media reach. They want that. They want what WWE is always, we just got this social media, whatever. And they've honestly done a decent job of doing that, of TNA getting the social media numbers. So yes, I agree with you. They want these guys to get the social media up, and they want to, again, like you're always talking about, the demographic. They appear to a demographic like myself, if I'm being quite honest with you, especially with Leon changing his theme song to a well-known UK rapper that the kids my age like. So yeah, don't change Ricky Sosa's presentation. In my opinion, he's the guy you want to make sure is protected because he's your future.
And both of these guys have European appeal. You got Leon from the UK. You got Ricky Sosa from Belgium. You're gonna have a big, like it is in the NBA, where a lot of people are coming from overseas to come to take over the NBA. It's a lot of talents that's across the pond in Europe that's coming to actually take over the American wrestling scene. So this is gonna be a very interesting dynamic TNA's going down, and I'm here for it.
As long as it's not Nigel McGuinness. Sorry, guys, I had a little bit of a lightning.
No, you're good, Jim. Speaking of that, Jim Cornette just came at AEW, but that's a whole nother subject for another day. He's making fun of the Fires. He said that's AEW just testing their pyro. Don't worry,
man.
guys.
We got to say that for tomorrow, gentlemen. We got to say
we
that.
Will. It's a teaser. It's a teaser. We got to get the people hooked and wanting to watch us the next day. So that is a teaser. We will talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Let me go on. We move on here. They're setting up. Santino Marella comes out where Dario Rey says we're going to have this match. Dario Rey is not going to allow this match, but Santino overrides. He's also a director of authority, and tonight that is the main event for tonight. It's going to be the Nemeth defending their tag team title against Ricky Sosa and the one and only Leon Slater. I had this question asked before we move on when it comes to Nick Nemeth. He has totally turned into, you probably could say, the most valuable talent on the TNA roster. Do you agree with that one, or could it be Leon Slater? He's the most valuable man in TNA. How do you think about that?
Ooh, I mean, you definitely have an argument there. I think he definitely is the biggest. He's not the biggest attraction. I still think the biggest attraction is the Hardy Boys. But if we're talking about the singles division right now and who's the best person to market as your world champion, I would say Nick Nemeth. If that makes sense.
He brings value. You could see him as a tag team with his brother. So that's one area. And then he could be a valuable member to be world champion, face of the company house, and also put over younger talent. So you could arguably say he could beat him value. I understand. I know there's something missing from him. I get you.
It. I'm gonna my analogy here is like if anybody watches the NFL, this is like a bridge quarterback. He's the transition guy to finding the guy. TNA, yes, like TNA is looking for their Patrick Mahomes. He's not there. He or she is not there yet. So Nick Nemeth is the bridge quarterback to carry TNA until they find who that person is. They wanted to be Leon Slater. They possibly wanted to be Ricky Sosa, maybe even a Mustafa Ali. But right at this present time, there is no current MVP of TNA. We got a lot of good parts, a lot of great role players here. They're still looking for the guy. So I just see Nick Nemeth as their bridge quarterback until they can actually draft the guy to be the leader of TNA.
Sounds like the story of my Steelers.
Shout out to the Dak Prescott of TNA.
Now that's no shots fired. Dak Prescott, a bridge quarterback.
Hoss, you literally just described the Steelers.
At least you got a bridge quarterback. And look at the Browns.
We got Jeff Hardy as our bridge quarterback. I would rather have Nick Nemeth at this point.
Fair. Man, honestly, I'd take anyone to knock out to be the quarterback of my team right now. But that's another subject.
Well, I'm a Jets fan, so we have John Moxley in the center.
Oh boy. He'll be under center there for a while.
That's why they don't win. All right, let's get you could tell people football season is on its way, and we're gearing up. We're doing little football puns. We're having some fun here on the Total Nonstop Jedi's here. Our TNA last night. We get the first physical contest, the first opening contest here. Not the first segment opening contest with Elijah versus Bear Brunson. Elijah enters with unfinished business following his recent backstage attacks. He has his suspects, and he's blaming the system were responsible. Bear Brunson provides a serious physical challenge. Brunson uses his size, his power early, and an elbow drop and massive sidewalk slam. Elijah fires up with some super kicks, a good-looking Alabama slam, some knee strikes, his finisher trademark offense, and Brunson nearly pulls Elijah away with a choke bomb, power driver, but Elijah survives. The finish sees Elijah catching Brunson with a high man's fairway for the victory, the tombstone from the top. Chris, what's your thoughts of Bear Brunson with Elijah? And also, I got to put this note. Brunson, keep the straps up.
I agree with that. I agree with that, man. I'm sick of these out of shape wrestlers thinking they're fucking macho. I'm serious. This is why I don't like Eddie Kingston. He falls in that fucking Bear Brunson mentality. He thinks he's fucking macho and he's the most out of shape dude I've ever seen. Anyway, this match was just quick. It was to get Elijah, in my opinion, a little bit momentum after him losing to Lockdown, him losing that series of matches to AJ Francis. I don't know what he's gonna do next. I don't see him and Bear Brunson doing a long-term feud. I still think Bear Brunson, I don't know what maybe he'll go for another tag team or something in the future. They haven't really done much with him as a singles guy. They just had him and Myers win the TNA tag team titles, and he's just kind of been that middle guy in the system ever since. So I don't really know where any of these two guys are going after that, but this was a quick match, in my opinion, to give Elijah a win. So he gets momentum after losing at Lockdown.
I have a hot take here, fellas. I believe the creative is prepping Elijah for a world title run. If you just go after his last few feuds, Order 4 with Mustafa Ali to begin the year with the AMC premiere, going into that. After that, AJ Francis. Now, the system. These are by far the three biggest heels in the company right now. And Elijah has had the privilege of going against all three of them. I think Elijah's going to go through all of the system. He's going to come out on top. He's going to probably be in a party match with like Moose and other people to go against the system. It might add Jada Stone or whoever, because, Jada Stone was one of his friends doing the Order 4 business. I really believe creative has something for him, because Leon Slater, if he doesn't beat Nick Nemeth at Bound for Glory, I could see Elijah being the next babyface up if Nick Nemeth has a reign of terror, so to speak, with TNA. So, yeah, I think that's what's going on here.
I I wouldn't want that for the simple reason that we would have to hear every fucking day, every Thursday.
You're not
Every
walking with
Thursday.
Elijah, Chris?
We
Are
are
you not
going
with the
to-
Drifter?
I have a T-shirt, and I will. I have the T-shirt. If he does that, I will go on this on the review the very next day, whether it's a pay-per-view or an Impact, and I walk with Elias, not Elijah, but it's the same thing. But I just don't want to hear Impact start with every Thursday if he wins the TNA World Championship. That would be the only reason why. But no, I like Elijah. And I'm in all seriousness, I think they're prepping him to be in that world title scene. Winning it, maybe, but he's definitely going to be a player to Nick Nemeth, especially if he beats Leon. He's probably that next baby face that's probably up. Because again, there's a lot of heels right now. I think a lot of the main players that I want to see are heels, and with Nemeth being a heel champion, I don't think we're getting that with them yet. So I could see your point there with Elijah.
And think about this. Say if he does beat Nick Nemeth, all the people that he lost fusing or even beat, he's gonna have a lot of people up against him. Mustafa Ali will be coming up to him.
Yeah.
You'll get AJ Francis like you wanted. You'll get probably Eddie Edwards. You're gonna get the rest of the system too. Like Elijah has a lot of connective tissue when it comes to this world title scene. So that's just me putting the star together. That's what it looks like to me, but we'll see.
Yeah, because immediately after that match, everything started changing because you saw the system rush the ring. Eddie Edwards, Myers, Alicia, Cedric, they swarm. Elijah, the message is clear. The system ain't finished with Elijah. So we look like there's going to be a program where has to go through the whole vortex of the system. Maybe Brian Myers next, Cedric, and then leading down to Eddie Edwards. Elijah suspects of being connected to the earlier attacks. Suddenly looks considerably more interesting, in my opinion, going forward.
And another thing, Chris, you just talked about y'all want Bear Bronson to lead the straps up. Elijah looks like a damn wrestler.
He does.
Honestly. So.
He does. I personally like him as a heel, but he does. He looks great. I don't mind him. I like him more than a lot of people.
Yeah, he has one of the better physiques in TNA. Well, the better physiques in wrestling.
He has one of the better
right
physiques,
now,
and honestly, I have came in. Let me try to word that a little bit better because that was almost a pause moment.
It's a Tuesday. What are you, Braun Wagner?
That was almost a pause moment. Elijah has debuted. He has been around wrestling with the same gimmick, and I have given him some negative thoughts, or I've given negative thoughts about that. But I will say he's been entertaining every time. Even though I don't like. I hated the fucking vignettes with the horses and all that, but it's entertaining. That's just, he has stayed true to his gimmick since day one, and I can honestly respect that. But I will never forget sitting inside Wells Fargo Center right after Bryce Harper got traded to the Phillies, and he goes into that building on Monday Night Raw and says Bryce Harper's career here will die, and the crowd just booed. Like, that's great heat. So like I have my personal experience with Elijah, so I will be biased. I clown him for the 3 chords, but I will be biased. He's great.
But Haas, let me go to you because you're like a character, and Chris just said a really good point. He hasn't really changed his character. I know Jim Cornette doesn't like him. He thinks he's character, but he is a character, and he still puts that guy that walks on the highway alone. He's that guy, that drifter. Do you like his character?
I'm a big fan of Cowboy Macho Man. That's what he gives me. That like he looks like Macho Man in the face. He's the cowboy, and we just had the death of Dolly Parton. Why not push the country music man with the 3 chords right now? It seems like there's a time and a place for it right now. I have no problem with his character, honestly. It may get stale to other people, but at least he stays true to it. He doesn't deviate from it. So he's trying. I give him that.
Yeah, rest in peace to Dolly Parton. At least AEW is doing homage to Dolly Parton. You see Maya World every time. She reminds you about it. They give you something to talk about.
She's more like the Whitney. Now somebody's gonna be the Dolly Parton, and she's gonna be more like the Whitney Houston. She's gonna copy and paste.
Kev, I'm gonna give you the same speech I gave Chris yesterday. You better not strike out. You keep bringing up these other pissant companies. We're talking about total nonstop action today. Don't bring up these other pissant.
Oh, he hated my OTC reference.
That's strike one, Kev. That's strike one.
Speaking of give you something to talk about, the Knockouts Tag Team Champions come out and cut a promo, and boy, yeah, there you go. In the spirit of Dolly Parton, you had Allie come out and reflecting on the lockdown, celebrating becoming one half of the TNA Knockout Tag Team Champions, jumping up and down and seeing all her dollies all over the place. And out comes Kiera Hogan. Kiera Hogan joins her, and she talks about how much TNA means to her and how returning feels like coming back home. You always can come back home to TNA. And Chris, seeing Kiera Hogan back in TNA, and your thoughts?
Like I said, when she came for our lockdown review, solid pickup. I mean, she's not going to, oh my God, Kiera Hogan. She's not going to do anything of that, change the Knockouts division in one night. But she's a solid talent. She's cheap. That's probably the best way to put it, right? For the executive, for the backstage. She's a cheap talent, but you could use her in multiple ways. And like I told you guys, she has history with Rosemary. So when Rosemary comes back, that shit could be cooking. She has both history with Rosemary and the Bunny. Right, either during the COVID era or right before COVID. They were a tag team. This isn't their first rodeo as doing this together. So I like it. I like it. I think if you want to have a mid card, not even a mid card, because we're gonna talk about that later, but even a tag team fallout, something where it's like, okay, Kiera Hogan now needs another partner. Maybe somebody else comes back in the future because Allie Allie rather be with Rosemary. They turn on Kiera Hogan, yada yada, some way, somehow. I don't know. My point is, there's a longevity into Kiera Hogan right now being with Allie, so I like it.
Kiera Hogan's back. It looks like that peach is ripe.
I'm gonna just go ahead and tell it for the people in the back. Baby got back. They're pushing a certain agenda in the Knockouts division, and I am enjoying it. They are pushing sexy and they're pushing powerful. We're gonna talk about the KO TV title later. They are pushing some wild stuff in the KO division, and it's a lot of eye candy, a lot of powerful eye candy. And the Hawks is here for it. I'm pretty sure the rest of the Jedi's are here for it. Kiera Hogan can always be on my television any night of the week, especially more on Thursdays. I have no complaints. I want more of her on television. You can push it to the moon for all I care.
And speaking about being more on television, Elena Black comes on, sends a message after that gruesome or that uncharacteristic. I don't think anyone expected her to have that kind of color on that match with Zaya Brookside. She comes out and addressed her loss at Lockdown. She's disappointed that she didn't walk away with the championship, but she's not viewing defeat as the end. Instead, she's called to the beginning of the Elena era, and the message essentially says, she's not done. So to be continued. She's more hunger. She's humbled in defeat. I'm gonna ask this, Chris. Do you find her now as a babyface after that message?
I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, they're doing something to build her up. And I know you could probably feel the same way, Kev, because you've seen this girl at NXT all those years. Like, it's one of those things, like you say with Tiffany, she's just works better as a heel. I still kind of see that in Elena Black, but I give them props. They are trying to get the sympathy, and I think they've done that so far. Get some sympathy behind Elena Black losing in her hometown. I still think they should have build her up a little bit more before that, but I said this during the Lockdown review. If they could capitalize on that and get make her sympathetic and all that stuff, it could work for her in the rest of the year, maybe next year or whatever. So they started to do that, but man, I still see that Elena Black as a heel, but they are trying. So I'm not going to knock it. I think give it some time. We'll see where it goes there, but we need more heel women to work with her now.
Yeah, Haas, you've seen Elena Black. You heard the message. It maybe just the baby steps. Did it convince you?
The
they
thing,
want to root for her.
the thing about I'll say like this: she was one of the biggest winners coming out of lockdown. Like she didn't win the belt, but she won the appeal of the people. That makes sense. The color that she got there, it made her feel very sympathetic. But then she comes out here and she gives this promo. The worst part of the promo, and it wasn't a bad part, it screams heel when you say the Elena era. Like that's still heel talking. Like it seems like whoever's writing her lines, they don't understand how baby faces speak and how heels should defer, if that makes any sense. Like she still sounds like the heel is still in there. Like this is a very unnatural transformation for her. So it's more dependent on TNA's writing to get her to come across very, very sympathetic than what she is right now, because naturally she is a heel. She's mean girl-esque. And when it's very hard to make women baby faces, that goes across company wide. It's because it seems like women are more naturally inclined to be heels when it comes to wrestling. Like it's a more of a natural feeling. When you try to get them in this baby face mode, being a superhero, the Supergirl, if you will. Even if you watch the DC and the Marvel movies, do these big big heroine women, do they sound like baby faces to you, honestly? Like you see Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman, they don't give baby face appeal, even though they are the good women. Yeah. So I think it's very hard for it to come across in wrestling with them, but it's on the writers. The writers have to put Atlanta in the right place. Like she's really trying, but she needs to be given something else. I'm not going to say more wrestling. Whoever's writing her lines needs to be better at that. That's all I can say.
So let me have a follow-up. Did you feel that she was humbled?
Yes, I could feel the emotion in it.
It worked.
It's the verbiage. It's just the verbiage, and that's just me nitpicking. Like other people may not be paying attention to it that hard. It's just when you pick up little lines like that, it sounds more corrupt than like gravitate to me. No.
Okay. I think when you say that she got humbled, I think that's the best way to look at it, in my opinion.
Yeah. Especially her saying that she lost in front of her trainer, her family, her friends, her city. So it kind of felt like a humbling moment and a setback. But she's not going to give up on the missions. It's an era. It's going to be her era. But she's going to have to continue to work over and fight over. So we'll see. I think it's a baby step in the right direction, but it was very ultra baby step.
Yeah, and another thing, Kev, is like we can't excuse. She's still young in the wrestling business. That's she only got a few years under her belt, so it's hard to ad lib certain things like that. Maybe the writers gave her that to say, and she was just like, "Should I stick to that, or should I pivot to something else?" With more years under her belt, she'll be able to pivot off stuff like that. So
she's only 25. She's only 25 years old. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so she's there's a lot of growing. Even though she was in the NXT system for 3 to 4 years, she was very young. She's been in wrestling for a long time, but she's still young. There's still a lot of youth, and now she's, to me, I feels like now she's in the in a mature part of her wrestling career. I think prior to that, she was very immature. When she debuted on Black before going to NXT, even she was a little immature, and then by certain things in life, whether release or certain things have galvanized her, where now she's looking to be more mature and relying on not what to do. So maybe this is something where she learns and then she embraces and goes to babyface, because she was an ultra babyface in NXT, but she would come out in that skateboard. And she looked, oh my gosh, she looked like she was a freaking 15-year-old girl coming out there, Roxanne.
She's rocking like Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, that was a perfect, and it was. But now, where you saw the heel run, does she turn back into that kind of? I think she's gonna tap in a little bit to it, but not over too naive for her in that way, because she's been through so much. Then it won't be authentic. If she becomes a naive skateboard girl like she was in NXT, it's not gonna. You could see it's forced or fake, because she's gone through so much, in her life, that it's going to be harder to her to bring that to life in TNA. So I'm interested. It's a blank canvas. I would love to see what they do with Elena Black.
Oh yeah, when it come to make new faces of companies, especially a baby face, you have to be able to read the room. Like feel the force, if you will, of the crowd. We're Jedi, so we gotta use that type of terminology. So the more she matures about that, she'll know how to move with the crowd. Because when you are heel, it's more of selfish intent. It comes from more from within. So once she grows more, I believe that baby face aspect will become more natural to her.
Yes, we'll find out how that goes. We have a next match here, which originally it was some tag team action. Order 4 versus Jason Hodge and Trey Miguel. Originally, it was supposed to be Mustafa Ali teaming up with Agent Zero. Apparently, Mustafa Ali was in the hospital with a punctured lung. But I'll talk about the match and we'll talk about the Ali punctured lung in a moment. The Mustafa Ali's condition changed from the original plan. Ali remained hospitalized following lockdown, like I mentioned. So did John Skyler, replaced him. Skyler and Agent Zero, they represented Order 4. And of course, you see where Mila Moore tells or gasses up John Skyler that he's the leader when Mustafa Ali is not around. But Jason Hodge, particularly here because of complicated history with Ali in Order 4. Hodge takes a tremendous punishment before making a tag to Miguel. Miguel comes in firing, hitting all types of enziguri, eventually connecting with a meteor from the top to the 1, 2, 3 on John Skyler. Hodge and Trey Miguel wins. I love how they took out Agent Zero on the outside when they rammed him into a couple times to the post where he couldn't intervene and break the pin. I liked the psychology, Chris, of the whole match. I really liked it because how they're going to win with the Agent Zero, and I love the way they did that.
Yes, I do too. I was worried there for a minute with Agent Zero because it felt like he kind of not went down for a little bit, but we didn't see much of him after he kind of stepped out of that Secret Service character for good. So I'm happy he was in a spot. I liked it. Nothing really big happened in my opinion that came out of it, but I enjoyed it. A good spot or good match, and it was a really good placement on the show.
Yes, the placement was a good placement, and Haas, you saw how they protect the big man because at lockdown, Trey Miguel got the roll-up victory, but this time around they took Jason Hodge took him out on the outside on the post. They didn't come back like totally. A big man could take so much. And also, I wanted to talk about how the women were involved in this match, where Mila Moore and Tasha Steele still, I'm with Order 4, but I'm not liking certain things there. There's a lot of story within the story of the match, Haas. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, the aftermath of this is going to show that it's going to play into Ali being disappointed in Order 4 that they can't get it done. This is like anybody familiar with the show Designated Survivor? Anyone familiar with that show? When you're in politics and the president is incapacitated, the vice president steps up, or the Speaker of the House, if you will. So this is Jason Hodges, the Vice President, Speaker of the House, whatever his position is in Order 4. Ali's going to come back. He's going to say, you can't get it done. You can't hold the fort down when I'm gone. How come you can't act right when Daddy's not here? So he's going to be up there flaming hot, steaming, stewing, and just say, why are we so weak? How come I'm the only one that can win around here? They're going to play it up again. So I really appreciate that. That's going to be good. And it seems like Trey Miguel is going to be a big factor with Order 4 going forward because, he was the one that lost to Mustafa before he got hurt. So we're going to go back to that type of feud, and it's going to be fun. It's really going to be fun. The biggest thing that's going to come out of this is how is Agent Zero going to react, because he's going to be probably the person that's going to be influenced the most by this losing until Ali gets back. How is he going to act when Ali comes back? Will he respect his leader for choosing losers to take care of business while he's gone? I'd like to see how that's going to play out. So this should be fun.
No, and like you said, it was one of the most intriguing character developments. Ali appears all of a sudden at the end of the match. He appears from a hospital bedside, instantly. Instead of immediately demanding a revenge against Jason Hodge, Ali offers something that I wasn't expecting: a truce. He says, "You know what? Let's call a truce." Ali essentially give Haas a choice: open arms or quarter arms. and leaves the door open to either reconciliation or another confrontation before allies here. And then you see Trey Miguel in the shadows or behind Jason Hodge, where Hodge is considering and he's confused, but he looks like whole snap, like he's concerned because I wouldn't be surprised if they go against another tag match and Jason Hodge decides to go back to Order 4 and turns on Trey Miguel.
I would say this is a part where art is imitating real life situations. If anyone knows, I know we don't want to get real political on here, but we signed an MOU recently, with Iran, the United States. This seems like Mustafa Ali giving an MOU to Jason Hodge. I think this could be a wolf in sheep's clothing type moment. Like, okay, I'm gonna reel you back in. I'm gonna whisper sweet nothings in your ear, talk that good stuff, and then I'm gonna bite you in the neck. I'm gonna do you like that. I'm trying to corrupt you. So yeah, I'm gonna wheel you back in and with all this good stuff, and you're gonna take care of you after that. So I think this was gonna go on here. I do not buy. I think Ali is selling wolf tickets, and I don't buy anything that he's selling.
Oh, I like that. I like that analogy. I was thinking, well, maybe you want to, trying to make up sex and then say, make me a sandwich afterwards. But we'll move on to something that's ridiculous and nonsense. The Righteous backstage approaches BDE and Rich Swann. Rich Swann had the night. Rich Swann was hilarious when he made fun out of them. Get yourself out of here. Dutch wanted BDE to accept their proposal and promised him an opportunity to step into the spotlight. And Dutch wanted a one-on-one match with BDE. Rich Swann isn't exactly thrilled with the Righteous continue to interfere in their business. Of course, that story is moving forward. We're going to get BDE versus Dutch with the possibility of the Righteous trying to recruit or manipulate BDE, Chris.
BD fucking E. I mean, I'm confused. So BDE is going to go one-on-one with Dutch.
Dutch wants to say, you want to step in the spotlight? Let's wrestle me one-on-one, and I'll make you a star. I'll make you go.
I'm going to tell you right now, if they bury Dutch, I'm going to have a problem. If Dutch loses to BDE, and again, I hate to do this, but this will be like me complaining about Brian Cage losing to Darby Allin. How do I explain it? Because I feel like there's more there to be done with BDE as a singles guy. So like if he does win, it makes sense. But Dutch and the Righteous, they should be the tag team champions. They should be in a bigger spot on the card. For hell fucking sake, they were on the pre-show on Lockdown. I don't know. I don't see Dutch as the singles guy like I do for BDE, but I would like to see Dutch get a win there. As long as the psychology in the match makes sense, whatever. But I don't care for it because BD is going to get the win and it's going to make me upset because I don't like him.
Gotcha.
Kev, I have a question. Do we have a list of the people who have been attacked backstage?
Yes. It's Cedric Alexander, Moose, Jeff Hardy now. Also, who was on the system? One more person from the system. And Elijah. I think that's it.
Okay. Here's my other hot take here. I think BDE is going to be in store for a heel turn. He's going to go with the Righteous sooner than later. I believe this is going to be a road for Dutch to whisper some stuff into BDE's ear. He's like, we can promise you certain things on some helter-skelter type thing, with Charles Manson. Their whole gimmick is 60s, 70s helter-skelter type thing. I believe they're going to get in BDE's head. They're going to end up destroying Rich Swann in the coming weeks. And you're going to see the Righteous and the BDE combination. It's gonna sound weird. It's going to look funny, but it's going to do something for the Righteous that they don't have with the booking right now. It's going to give them some more exposure, especially with social media. And I believe that marriage is going to be something big for TNA. So I think that heel turn is going to come soon.
I'm open-minded on that. That just makes BD the new pendejo of TNA.
Hopefully they finish it because him and Eric Young were teasing to do some shit together, and That never followed up on
You
anything.
see
So,
that's what it, because we got a lot of faces that's coming up in the main event and the X division scene. BDE being a heel, it could be something big.
They told him cleanse. He says that ain't gonna work for me, brother.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, if you got
Yeah,
your younger guys like the Ricky Sosas and the Leons, obviously you can't turn them heel. So if you got to have one of them, fuck it. BD is the least important one out of all of them, so turn him heel.
That sucks that Eric Young is no longer part of the company with the cleanse, and now they get a dude wipe sponsorship. Talk about timing.
Some other guys cleansing these people. What if it is him?
I think it's BDE the one that's destroying everybody backstage. It's the less likely person that you would think of. Would you really think BDE, the beanstalk up here, is beating up everybody backstage? It would throw you off, wouldn't it?
It would, because I could imagine his buddy, all his friends, they want to now be part of the gang,
Oh yeah, what's their faction? What's their faction name?
Pendejo a us.
I will workshop something, but it could be something.
Interesting enough.
BSC, bullshit creators. There will be the next BSK, but bullshit creators, BSC. How about that?
So we get a backstage. You got the Avery style makes his appearance felt. A major name entering the landscape. Avery Styles, the son of AJ Styles, the phenomenal son, becomes, of course, we saw that he was officially signed with TNA. Avery talks about the company opportunity to create his own story that simply lives off his father's legacy that comes. Moose comes out. Moose warns Avery about his association himself with Frankie Kazarian. Be careful. And then guess what? You say like Beetlejuice. Frankie Kazarian enters the equation. Kazarian wants Avery to begin his career on the right path. This immediately established a interesting triangle. Avery Styles, the exception of his father's legacy, while submitting his place in between Moose and Frankie Kazarian. Now we're going to have a custody battle between Moose and Frankie Kazarian for the custody for the right to mentor Avery Styles.
Yes.
I want to see Avery. I wouldn't mind seeing Avery Styles a heel.
I have no problem with that.
I might be the only one. I think him and Frankie could do something together. I would love it. Him and no bullshit outside kayfabe. Frankie and AJ are best friends. Mm-hmm. Again, the crowd gave him so much shit. Oh, it's during the one taping that I saw on social media. Play into it. Fuck it.
Yes.
Fuck it. And he's already an exact copy. Exact copycat of his dad. Just do
like going hard to me.
I'm talking about from everything he does, from the and the everything, even his music, his theme, like he's an exact fucking copy of his dad. But I would not mind seeing like Avery being the young guy. Like, okay, Frankie mentors Avery, whatever. He just goes on a rampage and starts beating up everybody. They take over TNA. I'm not saying AJ is gonna wrestle, but he could appear and be like, "Yo, what the, whatever." Sign me up. Sign me up.
I mean, it just seems like that's the normal route for most young talents, that they become heels first, and why not? It would give him a more character development. It'd be fun to see, and also like you can see him up here helping Kaz get over on Moose again. That like it could be such a shock, like you think he's gonna stop Kaz, and he slaps Moose or something, or famous phenomenal forearm dead in the head while he's doing a spear. It could be something very subtle and fun. So yeah, I'm for it. I see where you're going, Chris. I like it.
No, because I guess. Oh, sorry, Kev.
No, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, some people, well, you got to build them up. What? You don't have to. He's one. It's like Zilla going into NXT and getting a title shot. You don't. There's just certain people, second generation wrestlers. You don't really have to do all this shit to get them ready. Just throw them in there.
You said
They'll
the
be
right
fine.
thing.
Just like these second generation wrestlers are fine. Mm-hmm. Like again, like if you suck, you fucking suck. Like if you're like. Like all Nepo babies aren't whatever, but they're not all bad either. Let's just be honest.
Chris, I'm telling you, you're saying the right thing there.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
Avery should buy into the Nepo baby.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
It.
Give him a middle finger if he has to. Do something. And a young 19-year-old spoiled brat who thinks he's all that because his father is one of the best. Sign me the fuck up.
Yeah.
If they didn't learn anything, they have their own Dominic Mysterio.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that.
All you have to say when he turns heel, I don't have to set up tears. Throw that shit out there.
Yes.
Get the booze, Nepo baby. He gets nuclear booze by just going in there with Kazarian. Kazarian will help him navigate us to deal with the heat as a natural. And now Kazarian gets even more heat through Avery Styles and so forth. And if you have that dream scenario, if AJ Styles wants to come back and have a match with Frankie Kazarian for poisoning his son, there's money to be made, friends.
Delicious.
I'll go
Holla
a
at the
step further.
Jedi's. We're writing gold.
I'll go a step further, dude. If Avery Styles actually becomes like the heat level of Dominic, and he's whatever, and he not exact copy and paste like my dad's a deadbeat, but he could go, yo, you were on the road half of my fucking childhood. I'm doing it my way now. Some way, somehow. All right, I guess I'm about to slap the shit out of you. Boom, bring in the kid, bring in the wife. Bring in Wendy. She had no problem having Samoa Joe go out there on WWE and say shit about her. She's a good sport. She'll be fine. I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if there's one person that this guy is going to come out of retirement for, just like Rey Mysterio. It's going to, not that he came out of retirement, but you know what I mean? He's going to have these big matches and put his body on the line at his age to have a feud with this kid.
Yes.
And I think Ray and Dom has now become the blueprint. I mean, Shane and Vince was the blueprint, let's be honest. But in this now father and son still active on the roster, they could follow up from Ray and Dom. I'm all fucking for it.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You could put into him was away in Japan and you weren't there for my little league games. You could say you were too busy in the feds chasing, you were running around John Cena trying to chase a John Cena shadow. You can't see me. There's so many different things they could do with the writing and with the collaboration with NXT and the WWE.
Oh, don't be surprised if he's in NXT I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an appearance by the end of this year.
Of course he will. Of course, his father's already working for NXT.
All right, yeah.
So so coaching and putting matches together. So it doesn't hurt that. It doesn't hurt. I love what we got there. They have their version of Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio between AJ Styles and Avery Styles, and even Frankie Kazarian. I don't think, but this time around, hopefully they don't edge him like Edge was the catalyst and all this, and then it just didn't. It wasn't really it helped them to the bridge, but. There wasn't really. I think Frankie Kazarian could do more stronger than Edge.
Oh yeah, Frank Kazarian. He's playing. He could play the Eddie Guerrero role.
Yes.
Yeah. He could do that. Be the evil uncle. To corrupt the young mind of Avery. And if you get AJ to come here and do a match, it would put TNA over so big. If you have that match at I'm just saying for an example, at a Bound for Glory. I know that may be a little bit too early, but maybe a Destination X or something.
Maybe not. You never know, Haas. Maybe or Genesis. It could be one of it. It's not that far off. It's not that far off once they come back live from Bringington. This is where the tape hurts this company. This is where it hurts it.
Yeah, really and that's why I think they'll get this started on NXT. Because
they got a lot of money to be made.
If Frankie and Avery go to NXT, whatever, oh my God, they're ruling shit in NXT. They could play, okay, if AJ Styles is back there, he has his little headset on at the monitor or whatever. I don't know how far he is into his role or whatever, but I know he said some things. Long story short, have Avery come back there. Have the camera shot go back there and be like, yo, what do you guys do? Like, whatever. Set something up there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Impact has a live show that week. Bam. You could have the story focus on Impact, but you could get that started on NXT.
Chris, you could go with Frankie Kazarian poison the kid's mind. Look at your father teaching other kids their trades and their ins and outs. Meanwhile, and you're not. You see, I told you he wasn't there when you and again, all that devil in your ear.
Money. I love it.
This money and I think they're going to do it. And I think we have, as fans of TNA, we can't have it immediately. I think it's a nice slow burn. It's going to happen, and I'm for it. I want it. I want to see it. It's available there, and this is AMC. Tell stories. Tell all types. They got, it's there for them. I am excited.
Even have Avery win have it be for the X Division title. Take it one step further. This is the title that you made famous. I have it. Take it from me.
Well, got to see his in ring first, just to make sure he's worthy for that X Division champion. But I'm not against it, Chris.
I'm not against it.
I'm
either,
open mind. I'm not saying no, you can't do this. Too way behind here.
This is This is way, way, way down the line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's definitely. And look, let's be honest with you. Lockdown looked good on television. It looked like people were together, but there was a lot of empty red seats. There wasn't full capacity of the building. And last night, it would be if you were first 4 rows, it was dark as shit in the back. And there was people there, but it was dark. And you could see when they did the spotlight, certain sections were, not that many. It looked like a collision show. And then, it was a little empty on there. So
you could hear it throughout the show. You could hear it throughout the show.
You have an Avery Styles and an AJ Styles storyline, even if he doesn't have to be all the time. That's going to get people talking. People want to go see, especially for Tampa. This is Central Florida is a big hub of wrestling fans. You announced that for Bound for Glory, the remaining tickets, those are going to go quick. You're going to be they're going to be really packed. And it's not going to be mostly comp tickets. It's going to be really, really people spending good money to go to Tampa to see that, especially if they announce him. And it doesn't have to be a match there, Haas. They could actually announce him going to the Hall of Fame, and that's where the dissension and the seeds begin. And then they could slow burn it if they want to do it at Slammiversary throughout the course of months of slow burning while AJ Styles could get in some kind of wrestling shape if he feels he's not in wrestling shape. He just retired, for God's sake. But I'm just saying, and they say they want to get back into round shape. He got all that time for Slammiversary, planting the little seeds.
Yes.
Or, you could do that.
Kev, you're right. If they do this right, if they do this correctly, they have a year to do this. You can fast track Avery. I know I've seen some of the tape, and Avery can wrestle. He can. You don't have to put him in big, high stakes situations right now. But a year from now, he'll be 20 years old. We can go back to the question that you asked at the beginning of the show, looking for their MVP. You could build him up to be your rookie of the year, your cornerstone of the rebirth of TNA, if you will. You can have him. You can have the Ricky Soldiers. You can have the Leon Slaters. But you have the name value of the Styles name. You could really make him a big attraction if you do this right. So you have you could debut him doing something big, like you say, at Slammiversary next year. This is TNA. If they want to develop stars, do it right here. You do it right here with the name value right now.
Chris, I could compare. I'm not going to say it's going to be exactly like that. I'm not. But this is this generation's version of AJ Styles Samoa Joe with Ricky Sosa and Avery Styles. If Ricky Sosa stays babyface and Avery Styles become this mega heat villain heel, you could have that rivalry being played out here in the next year to 2 years for TNA. I say a year because I don't know how long these guys are going to be contracted. But they could fast track it or they could build it correctly. And also put this caveat out there. Frankie Kazarian has a young teenage boy as well. And he might be getting in the wrestling business. We spoke with him when we interviewed him. I believe I'm not sure if he's 16 or 17 years old. He plays baseball and all that stuff. I don't know if he's going to go collegiate or if he's going to get into the wrestling in the words of it. And now you can have that.
Apparently his son's really into it. Like his son's very, very into it because, mom is also a wrestler too. So I think Frankie's, I think that could be something cool. But to your question, it could be because I really like Ricky Sosa's height. He has a great height and he could do a lot of the X Division shit like a Samoa Joe. So yeah, not too far off there.
No, I'm not saying it's gonna be exactly like that. You're not gonna get those memorable, but that's this version, their generation of that. If you turn back the clock, they say history repeats itself. This could be something that could be repeating itself. We could probably have something, hopefully if God willing everything gets creative and storyline wise. We're excited. We spent a nice chunk of the review on just Avery Styles, who didn't do nothing but speak and backstage promo, which was great. And you don't know what history could bring. And speaking of history, history was made. We had the inaugural TNA Knockout Television Champion. This is arguably one of the best match of the night. You could arguably say one of the best matches of this 16-women tournament. It came down to M by Elegance versus Jada Stone. This is not just another championship. The winner becomes the inaugural champion for the very first time. TNA also established that the champion will be defending it exclusively on Thursday Night Impact. So we're going to get to see a lot of M by Elegance, who becomes your inaugural champion. But I'm going to be honest with you. We said it was when last week and looking at the tournament, this looks like M's tournament title to win. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a big fan of Jada Stone, but when the match was started and through the course of some of the beginning of the matches, I thought it was 50-50. I was like, I think Jada's going to win it. Bravo to Jada Stone and bravo to M by Elegance to make me feel I did not know who the hell was going to win, Haas. And that's what you want in a match.
I told you this last week. The size dynamics was going to make for a great match, and they were all over the place. Like you saw Em up here playing with her size advantage, having kept the reach back, make sure she couldn't get in close. Jada using her speed, being the spark, as you will, like she always says. And the finish was great. And boy, I did not know Maggie's finisher looked that devastating. My God. Like she folded up Jada Stone like old paper. It was crazy, but this match was very impressive. Both of these women got over in this match, and I can't put it over much more. It was great. It was great.
Hey, Chris, she wrestled. I'm a big admirer of Maggie Lee's wrestling. I told you that she was the face of the Knockouts division in a year. I told you that she's going to be the big thing out of that group. And no interference from the Elegance brand, which was cool. No interference. They let them wrestle one-on-one. They were out there doing their goofy stuff out the outside. Great. But Maggie wrestled like she was a giant. Like she was close to 7 feet tall. And the power moves that she asserted throughout the match with the kicks, the pump kicks, the reversals. You're going to go to the ropes. Nope, I'm not going to. I'm going to counter it. I thought the match was done well, Chris. I don't know what else to put on it. That's perfect.
Yeah, I honestly thought that when she hit her little tombstone, I didn't realize that was like her finishing move. So I actually thought the match would go on a little bit, but she got I was like, oh, okay. Like I was actually genuinely surprised because, like you said, it went back and forth there, especially towards like I think the match went like 10 minutes or something, especially like when they got like 4 minutes in or something. It really kept going there. I'm not a big fan of Jada Stone either. Again, it had nothing to do with her wrestling and everything to do with her character. Now, so that's why I thought her winning this maybe could have helped her doing that. But I've said it, agreed with you guys on day one that this was M's tournament to win, and I think I think that championship's gonna, it's gonna help that championship if she wins it first right now. This could also be an Elena Black type of thing with Jada Stone, where she loses and the crowd gets behind her and she gets another opportunity, eventually wins it. But yeah, I want to see some more character work with Jada Stone because she looked good tonight. She looked good at Lockdown. I really have no, maybe in the beginning, but I've had no real issue with Jada Stone the last few months with her in ring. Now I just want to see some character work. But she did a great job yesterday. They both did. Right outcome.
You know what showed me last night? M by Elegance doesn't need to be in a tag team no more.
Oh, no.
Get her off from the tag team division because you saw how strong she built. Like you said, you didn't know her finisher because she never got to use that in the tag team. It was always whenever they were part of when the Elegance brand wrestled, there was a lot of comedic and nonsense. Mm-hmm. And that was their stick, either with the Elegance man cheating, yada yada, or Ash took away. That's why I said the less of Ash, and no disrespect, the more you stay away from the Elegance girls, from both girls, the more you're going to help their career. You could come back. Yes, I'm not saying don't come back ever. Stay away for a little bit because you've seen now the growth of M. And don't forget, H could wrestle on her own one-on-one. When she came in as Heather Reckless before Johnny Ellis' brand, she had a couple of matches were really good. She's really good on a one-on-one. I think these girls work well one-on-one, and I hope this TV title is going to show that and showcase M more. And then maybe they have some matches where H, maybe there's going to be storyline where I think they're going to butt heads, but I want to see H do some stuff on her own to let us know and say, see, I told you she could go one-on-one. Both ladies go well. I watch a lot of their matches, not too much. Some of their matches on the independent scene, and Maggie only has 4 years in the business. 4 years. And she look at the match she put out there, and Jada Stone as well. I think Jada Stone only has 2 to 3 years as well. For two ladies with that inexperience there, under not even a decade to combine, they did a great job. Phenomenal.
The thing here is they didn't overexpose these women. It was short and sweet, and that when you get in the knockouts division in women's matches in general, unless you just got elite veterans out there who are really over with the crowd, there's no need to go over 10 to 12 minutes. Let these women, they already look good. Let them get their shit in, and we get a nice finish in it. And this fitted very well. And I'll say this with M and the whole Elegance brand, we're getting to the point where you go to the music business when you get these girl bands and one just outstars the others. Like the others are talented. Like you had like Beyonce and Destiny's Child. It's stuff like that. M by Elegance is they're trying to build her up to be the Charlotte Flair of TNA, if that makes any sense. They want to get their own 4 horsewomen in a new generation of the knockouts, and they're gonna start with her. They want it to be her, maybe Elena Black. If Zaya Brookside catches on, they want her, and they'll throw another one in there. But they're trying to let Maggie be the cornerstone of their knockouts division. So I have no problem with it. I like it.
Why not? She's young. She's young. And by the way, great job on Tom Hannafin and Matthew Reinhold. I don't know which one guy said it, but they gave Gail Kim a lot of credit for discovering and bringing her into TNA. So great job there, and kudos to Gail Kim, who I don't know why she's no longer part of that women's division behind the scenes and creative. That's another, when she wants to tell her story, I would love to hear it, whether it's here or anywhere from Gail Kim. But she's got an eye for talent, and she brought in her. And one of her signings before leaving, was a M by Maggie Lee, and she got a good eye. And look at the dividends that is paying off here for TNA there. And I said that, and I said, also Mila Moore. Watch out for Mila Moore later down the road, but she's got to get in the ring. She got to come out, get some bumps. But Mila Moore, M by Elegance, H by Elegance, they're young ladies that they're grown. They're not from the WWE system, although Mila Moore was part of NXT in the Performance Center, all that stuff for a small short term, but still, that's a TNA homegrown. Good job there, and I'm excited to see where it goes. What's it do with the Elegance man, Mr. Elegance? I don't know, and also, when did you see the promo that they cut backstage? When they cut the promo speaking both Jada and by Elegance, she spoke so well, and she spoke like the heel. She cuts a good promo, just being real, talking about the importance of that winning that title. I'm like, I need to see that. I don't need that cringy, screaming stuff with I think the Elegance stuff is cringy and it's hurting them because they are more. They are really good. I'm very high on the two ladies. I really am. I just wish that Elegance gimmick cringiness, and it's not theirs. It's Ash, but they kind of feel like they have to keep that torch alive. So I'm Chris. I'm very confused when it comes to Ash and that whole Elegance. It's hurting the girls.
Yeah, I don't care to see Ash by Elegance on my TV anymore. I like Maggie on her own, but I do think the personal concierge sticking around with her it would be nice because I mean this in no disrespect. Mr. Elegance is a complete waste of everybody's time. I'm not even trying to say that to be funny. He is a legit complete waste of roster. He's a waste of money. He's just a waste. And he brings nothing to this group. I love Heather, but she clearly, even when Maggie got into the group, she's always felt like the odd women out. So I want to see her do a little bit more single stuff, like you mentioned. Just break the group up. I'm serious. Just get rid of the entire Elegance brand because hopefully this is the way they do that. Maybe this title creates animosity between Heather and Maggie. So that could be interesting television with the concierge in the middle, whatever. But again, Mr. Elegance is a waste of breath. Get him away. Get the group away.
Guys, I'm gonna say pump your brakes on this right quick. And I'm gonna bring up one of those pissant companies. So I'm gonna hit myself with the bat here. I'm gonna bring up
Strike
one of those
one.
pissant companies. Yep, I'm striking. I'm not gonna strike out them. I'm gonna bring up one. You know when Christian Cage left Nick Wayne hanging, and you left Nick Wayne in the wind, and his push seemed like it got derailed just a bit on the AEW roster, not ROH, but the AEW roster, because you rushed that build. Like we never got any finality to it. With Maggie and Heather, one of them has to be. Ash has to put one of them over. Like we cannot rush them to break this up. It's a reason that Ash is still there. Maggie has to pin that woman, or Heather has to pin that woman. She has to do the honors for one of these women to leave, to start this breakup for a power dynamic. Because if not, it's gonna run long in the tooth like the Judgment Day looks at the WWE. See that strike two? I just brought another pissant company, so I had to do that just for examples. So you can't push Ash away this quickly. She has to do the honors for one of these women for it to make sense. So she serves a purpose. I know she's cringy. I know she's wild, but there's a reason. She has to put one of these women over. So be patient. I think it's going to happen by the end of the year, or maybe no longer the Genesis next year. But it's gonna happen.
No, I could say this. I could see in Bound for Glory because it's in Tampa and Ash is from South Florida, and it's a couple hours away. I could see her come back or the Thursday before Bound for Glory, like kind of like, would you want gold? Like kind of jealous to see her have that TV knockouts champion around her waist. And then kind of putting a little bit like uninjured. She's no longer, and Mr. Concierge giving Maggie more the attention because she's the champion and all that stuff. And Ash doesn't get them, and she kind of starts getting dissension with, or putting stuff or chit-chatting negative with H about M. And then you could have that. They could turn on her on Bound for Glory, attack her and so forth. Although they say that the title is only going to be defended on Thursday nights, but they could be in a tag match. And then they turn on her. And that's when Ash, for Genesis or whenever they want, they could, the pay-per-view before the year's end. Or even for Genesis, like the Ash versus M by Elegance, or the TV, the last live of the year for that knockouts title. And then she beats her, and then they go to a new year, Maggie's still champion, and then you're off and running. I could see that. That's it. That possibility is on the table, Haas. For them, if that's something that you're looking forward to and needs to happen, that's on the table for TNA on that. And we're going to talk about something at the end, but I want to go through the review because this is something important that I asked you to do some homework last week or the review for Lockdown. But we'll get back into that. We'll put a pin on that one because the mystery attacker strikes again. Like we mentioned earlier, I'll say it again. Jeff Hardy was attacked. This is arguably the biggest cliffhanger of the entire episode. Jeff Hardy is discovered unconscious, loaded into the ambulance. Matt Hardy arrives, very confused, concerned, and then this wasn't an isolated incident. The mystery attacker now is target. Here's the names: Moose, Cedric Alexander, Elijah, now Jeff Hardy. The common connection, they're all TNA wrestlers. Could it be someone from the WWE coming in from NXT attacking? Could it be someone who's a free agent? Or maybe 6 of them? Who knows? But there's still a lot of mystery, no identity yet of who could be it. But there is no connection other than their TNA talents. So who is attacking the TNA roster? I think that's going to unfold weeks to come. And then we have a segment. Indy Hartwell segment wants to be a Knockouts Women's Champion. Hartwell hits the ring, the TNA Knockout World Champion. Indy argues that she is in her prime of her career and deserve an opportunity. But out comes Director of Operation Daria Ray confronts her. Daria warns Hartwell that her action has consequences. Hartwell continues to push her into an argument and actually had the crowd calling her diarrhea. Also, teasing that she might come out of retirement and fight Indy Hartwell. So that was interesting before we get Zoe Serrano, formerly known as Zoe Starks, joins TNA, attacks Cindy Hartwell from behind. Zoe's back. I popped. I was so, watching Zoe Stark at NXT, watching her come back from her injuries, getting hurt at that Halloween Havoc, then missing the whole entire year, returning back, having a great NXT run again after an injury, getting called up to the main roster with Trish Stratus. It was a fun little moment. Then seeing that gruesome injury on her, to see her come back as a fan, as a personal fan for Zoe. I'm very happy she's back. I'm happy. I hope she stays healthy. I want to see what they do with her. But I want to ask this to Chris. Were you intrigued? Would you be intrigued in seeing Daria come out of retirement to take on Indy?
Nah, not really. I didn't really like this segment. Um, I liked I like Daria. I like her as a heel. I think a lot of the stuff she said was like, oh, she threw a lot of punchlines at Indy. I'm not the biggest fan of Indy Hartwell when she speaks. I didn't get that invested with her delivery. So I thought that part of the segment was kind of flat. And then Zoe Stark, look, I would say kind of the same thing I would say for Kiera Hogan. Solid pickup. Is she going to shake up the division? I personally don't think so, but she could definitely make a big role in that singles division for sure. Only time will tell with that. But I mean, I used to have this thing with Daria and Zoe Stark when they were in WWE. So I'm happy to see, the team that they're back together. I used to call them the Studs. The Studs are back together in TNA, reunited, and maybe they'll do a tag team match or something together. I don't know,
what did Mitchum call them? What was that?
I forget. I always called them the Studs.
Mitchum had a good one. Yeah.
On my old pot, that's what I would always refer them to. But I don't know. I'm curious to see where this goes because I like Indy's message at the end of the day. I don't like the way she delivered it, but she is a big player in the division. I think she has been for a while now, and she really hasn't had that time to have the Knockouts Championship. So I think her going out there, it makes sense. This didn't hit for me, but there's still time to do stuff there. I think there's something going to go obviously between Indy and Zoe Stark. Daria, I think that's going to be an interesting part to see if she actually gets back in the ring. Like Indy said, put your hair up and square up.
Okay, I'm gonna hear Indy and Zoe Starks have some great matches in NXT, so they got good chemistry.
Okay.
Your thoughts on seeing Zoe in there? Did it feel like Giovanni Vinci or Fabian Eichner for you?
No, I will say this. I'm finna strike out, fellas. I'm finna make another comparison to another pissant company. This I like that Zoe Serrano is gonna be like a special enforcer for the suit. So, and my comparison would be: do you remember when the Big Show debuted with Vince McMahon? You remember when he came out? He was a special enforcer. I can see Zoe Serrano being that big powerhouse of the Knockouts division for Daria, so she could just move her weight around. Show you that I just shut up. I am talking. Like you women got to get in line for the suit. So I like this. I like it a lot. The Zoe Serrano, she has a certain gravitas to it. She has size. She come there. She looks like a badass, and she's gonna really be towering. She's not that big, height wise, but she's wide. She has a physique to her. So her up there doing Daria's bidding, because we saw when Elena Black came in, that was one of Daria's special picks as well, but they turned her to the other side. So she's like, okay, I'm going to get a bigger, stronger version of that to come defend my honor as an evil doer. So I like it. I like the way it's going.
And by the way, shout out to you have a bat in your hand. Shout out to Zoe. When she was on NXT and when she lived in Orlando before going back to, I believe she moved back to Las Vegas. She used to go to the batting cages right down the street from us here, and she would go always in the batting cages and swing that bat and hit. And used to see her all the time, whack at that right there. And she loves hitting the baseball, softball, and the machines, the batting cages. So she's a big. That's why I looked at the bat and remind me of Zoe because she used to always post, and I always see her on there next to the batting cages on Curry Ford. By the way, if you know, you know, on there for Zoe. And yeah, so I'm happy to see her there. I want to see she brings that obstacle to breathe down either the babyface or the heel champion. She could align herself that she's going to protect Zaya Brookside, and then she could be an obstacle for any babyface that wants to threaten for the title and go through her. And I like it because she worked with Trish Stratus. She's worked in an NXT when they were getting. She was very good. With Roxanne, her and Cora has some good matches. Zoe has good matches with a lot of about more than half of that roster in TNA right now, which is going to be good chemistry wise. Now we're going to see her with no training wheels, with creative freedoms, where now she's got to have to show us the character side with her promos, and she's got to show us what she's about. And I think that's going to go over. This is a clean slate for her. I just hope that she doesn't have any more setback and injuries. That's the only thing I heard of Zoe was her own body breaking down. And yes, she does some great movement. Her GTS kind of move with the knee, all that stuff is really dope from her. I'm excited to see you there. It really gives it a really boost for that knockouts division needed going forward. Let's see what happens in the next coming weeks for Zoe Serrano.
And they attached her to the heat magnet that is Daria Ray, so she won't have to speak that much right now. Because that seems like when Zoe got to talking a lot on the main roster, she lost steam when she used to open her mouth, whether for good or bad. But if you attach her to Daria and Daria does most of the talking and Zoe's the muscle, she can get over rather quickly.
Yes, yeah, and one thing I remember, Zoe. Thank you, Trish. That was great when she came up with that. Thank you, thank you, Trish. That was great. She was good. Just of course, unfortunately, the injuries. And WWE likes their blonde, but they like a certain aesthetic in their blondes. And I guess Zoe didn't check the box, but here or there. We get a match that's set up for next week. Knockouts. Harley Hudson checks in on Indy Hartwell. Zaya Brookside interrupts so that Santino declares them to settle in the ring. It's going to be Indy Hartwell, Harley Hudson taking on Zoe and Zaya Brookside. So they're giving us Santino immediately opportunity to put an impact and put her in Toronto into a storyline immediately. So I'm for it. We're gonna see her in ring action for Zoe. So I don't think there's much to add there, right? You just guys excited to see what she looks like in the tag match there, and they're gonna go at it. We'll go to the main event. The TNA Tag Team Champions, the Nemets, taking on Leon Slater, Ricky Sosa. The stakes are enormous. Slater already has a future TNA World Title matchup against Nick Nemeth at Bound For Glory, and now he has a chance to take Nemeth's other championship alongside with Ricky Sosa. Comes out, and with a lot of tremendous energy, Sosa gets his hands on Nick Nemeth. Slater eventually hits Ryan with Utopia. The challengers appear to be close to winning, but the champions consistently find a way to survive. With Ryan uses cheap tactics, Nick attacks Slater from behind the referee's back. Slater is eventually sent shoulders first into the steel post as Nemeth begins isolating Slater, but Slater fights back. Sosa eventually gets involved again and hits a springboard cutter. He nearly soars the upset, and later Sosa hits a powerbomb on Nick for a 2 count, where I thought that was I was so close, and Sosa sets up for the headshot, and when everything falls apart, Nemeth counters with Danger Zone, and he pins Ricky Sosa for the 1, 2, 3, and retains the titles. Gentlemen, your thoughts on the main event, Haas? Did it live up to a main event, and were you entertained?
Yes, I was. I popped throughout this whole match. They put Ricky and Leon in a big spot, and they in the words of my bat here, they knocked it out of the park. Let's just go with that, because I really believe this was an audition for Ricky to see what he looks like in a big spot in the main event. He looked great at Lockdown. He looked great in this match right here. Leon always looks great. It's just about him maturing with his promo work and everything. So we'll see how that goes. But these two men, they did their job against the Nemeths, and this was a great main event. I loved it.
Yeah, the main event was, Chris, for a live event. Your thoughts on this main event, man?
Yes, great main event.
They didn't edit it. It was right there.
It was awesome. It was awesome. Again, it reminded me of, like you said, what we talked a little bit about earlier on, like Javon Evans and Leon, 2 young up-and-coming guys, future of the company, working together. I like it. I like that. I'm not normally a big fan of seeing guys interact before a big match, but it's still very early on in their feud, because we did see a lot of, Leon and Nick get some, interfere or time with each other. But it's going to be a great match at Bound for Glory. This is the start of their build. I think Ryan being aligned with Nick actually helps Nick a little bit more than people realize. I know, and I'm not just saying this because obviously I'm cool with Ryan Nemeth, I guess. I do think it makes Nick just a little bit more of a prick because he has a little brother who's annoying, and it's like, oh, let me hang out with you, bro. I gotta bring my annoying little brother. That's the vibe that Ryan Nemeth gives me. He's that annoying little brother that has to come to the hangouts with his big brother. It makes for good TV, and I like the end of the match there. So it's good. Again, Ryan brings a lot to this to the table right now with Nick, and I think a lot of people need to realize that. But good stuff. A great main event, like Hoss said, a lot of fun watching it.
Nice. This was a very good Fallout or live episode coming off of a pay-per-view. They actually followed up a company, not like the other pissant company that can't follow up on the pay-per-view. They fall short. They don't get an A, but TNA did. They got an A for this year. Brings me to my question here that I asked you guys last week. Now we got a couple months removed where Tommy Dreamer is creative. We have Delirious. We got Lance Storm. I don't know if he's part of the creative, but he's a coach. And they didn't bring in Brian James, the Road Dogg. But watching TNA here, despite watching Slammiversary, watching now Lockdown, heading into the buzz into Bound for Glory, how has creative turned the corner? Or do you still need to see more from creative? How do you like the weekly shows and the pay-per-views, Chris?
I still need to see a little bit more. I still need to see how Bound for Glory is produced, because those are the two biggest shows. But I think the pay-per-views have looked good since Tommy Dreamer's left. I think all the matches have been great quality. The matches they've been good builds for the most part. With their weekly TV shows, and their pay-per-views were never a problem anyway, but I see a little bit of an improvement there. And the weekly shows, again, them being taped, really, it's no one's fault when it comes to booking. That's just how it is. But I think, well, we're seeing a little less spoilers, at least for me. I haven't seen that many spoilers out since kind of this whole regime has taken over. I think we're getting a little bit more follow-ups on to the next show because we know they're taped. So it's not like, okay, we'll tape this show for this show and then this show. Like, they're taping it to where it actually makes a little bit more sense. The clear direction of baby faces and heels, which Tommy's always done a great job at that, but I think they're building more people now. Tommy had Santana, he was hot. He had the partnership with NXT. So I think this current regime of TNA, I think they're now trying to build up a lot of these guys. When I think Tommy just had these guys, all right, I'm going to see what I could do with you. I think it's a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different, in my opinion, but in a good way. In a good way. So I would say I got to see a little bit more, but so far I'm seeing a little bit, just minor improvements.
All right, your thoughts, Hoss?
The singles knockout division is rounding into form. I will give them an A for effort on that one. They're applying some real effort to the singles knockouts division. The tag division of the knockouts, we got to see how that's going to round out because that is to be continued. Just like the male division of the tag team, it needs to be rounded into form too. But I'm gonna give it to Bound for Glory for the men's singles division because they got some stuff that's cooking, but it's just a lot of unknown factors there. Like, what is the direction? We got a few guys that may be going for the main title. We got a few guys going for the X division. So I'm gonna see how Bound for Glory ends before I give a good solid take on how the single male division is looking. But the women's knockout has a direction, and we'll just see how further will the men's go. But I like the consistency that they are showing. They are showing that they have an attention to detail. I will say that. So it's a good direction all around. It's just for the male division, for the singles, it's just to be continued.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm not trying to defend Tommy Dreamer here. To be fair, I've no secret. We've always listened to Busted Open. We're always, me and Chris, we've been following it. to be fair, Tommy Dreamer said openly on microphone, and I'm busted open before he got relieved and removed from creative. He had a lot of wrestlers in TNA that they done so much with the company, and and this was after Slammiversary. I think after or before Slammiversary, around that time in the summertime last year, where we have a lot of people that will kind of say, I paraphrase, will be better if they had a change of scenery from the company. As now you fast forward it, we got a lot of people that are no longer part of the company that kind of, including himself, a change of scenery from Macklin to Jody Threat to Dan Annie Luna to the turnover. You've seen the Rascals, all of them except for Trey Miguel. They've done so many different things with the company that what was there more to do? Like Jake something, they guess they left opportunities for them on the table. For Jake, he never was world champion, never was a singles champion. Or Jake Doyle, aka Jake something. Danny Luna never got championship, but there was a lot of left to be on the table, and that's what Tommy Dreamer said. Kind of like there's people that could use a change of scenery that shouldn't. Josh Alexander, Speedball Mike Bailey. They couldn't. There's not. What else is there? They've been on the top. There wasn't much there. There's not. I think Cruz Montana, aka Mike Santana, you could say the same thing. After that title, 2-time NXT TNA World Champion, how much more with a third reign, and he was champion. He was good, but the storyline and the opponents they gave him wasn't his fault. He just knocked them out, but it wasn't. It is with this new creative in place. The pay-per-view is great. It shows you in the world that you could do 8-9 card pay-per-view on the 3 hours and still give people bang for the buck. Take a note of it, WWE, because we're about to see you this weekend for 5 matches, and then we would like to get more and more ads. And take a look at one of your collaborators. They're doing it right in pay-per-view. Be honest with you. The TNA does it right when it comes to pay-per-view. The spacing, the timing, the matches, great job. They give you close to 9 matches with the 0 hour or the pre-show. Great, you get your money's worth. And that's what we want. And TNA does that. I wish they were live every other week. I'll take a compromise, not every week, because they can't afford to sell those arenas out weekly basis. They'll lose money out of their yin yang. I understand that. I understand why they're booked where they tape, pre-record. They rent the arena for 2 days, and then they pre-record for a month. I get it, because it's not a lot of money. A lot of people ain't going to buy there. But
they need a studio.
They need a studio. Correct, Chris. They need a studio, and they also need, and we're hoping that when we spoke, and it doesn't have to be exactly where we are, but there's an opportunity to bring in a lot of fans. And if you missed it, if you're hearing us now later in the stream or in the podcast, check it out a little earlier on the Rewind app feature on podcast or anywhere you get your podcast or on YouTube when we talked about Avery Styles and AJ Styles, Frankie Kazarian, where it could help bring more eyeballs of those fans and some of the old TNA fans, restore that feeling of the second generation to come back. And also some of the WWE folks that love AJ Styles, that admires him and all that stuff and watched. And there's money for TNA to be made here. Now, how they spend it or how they do it, that's not our fault. As fans, if we support it, we're giving them a reason to spend it and a reason to upgrade, get better arenas. I'm gonna be honest with you, Canada's hurting. I know Anthem is a Canadian company. I know their roots are in Toronto. I know that but now they're going to go to Destination X also on the west coast of Canada. That's going to hurt it. I'm sorry. And I'm not just because, I didn't get it in Florida. Yeah, we got Bound for Glory in Tampa. We didn't get it in Orlando. Fine. Carlos Silva, if they had a town meeting when he says they're going to go to markets that were profitable to TNA that brings people in, I'm sorry. Bringington, and I don't think that looked empty. I hope this is, and I'm not trying to be biased. I hope this is the last time they go there for a while.
I mean, Zoe Stark's got crickets, dude.
That crowd was weird.
I mean, again, it was a tough crowd in Ottawa on a Monday, so
they need a studio like
rough.
NXT does, and then they travel specially for their shows. Go to the cities that you make that are profitable. That's fine. But if you need a studio to do live television, I think it's worth it. Because it's the reality. Nobody wants to watch tape wrestling in 2026.
No,
Fair.
and that's what
That's
hurting.
fair.
That's what's hurting MLW.
Nobody
That's
wants to
what's
watch
hurting MLW.
live anything really that's not live. You want to watch live entertainment. You want to watch live. You know, when you watch a live comedy special or something, you don't want to watch it when everyone else has already watched it, yada yada. No, you want to watch it when it's aired. That's the same thing with this. Yeah. So if they got to do studio to do that, compromise it, don't matter to me. They go back to not, Disney or whatever, Universal Studios, but shit. Maybe even get the place that they were doing AEW Dark. I don't know, somewhere.
Or Nash. That was Universal Studios, by the way.
Oh, then yeah,
It was
get
the same,
Universal.
It was the old
yeah.
TNA. It was the old TNA WCW Studios. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Okay. Yeah. Do that, or like you just said, somewhere in Nashville, like
But then you're
somewhere.
asking your wrestlers to go to Nashville. I don't know if most of them live in Florida. Listen, a lot of these wrestlers live in Florida already. You're gonna have to. You know what? It's there is no state. There is no state taxes, or even Texas. You know how much it doesn't have to.
Tennessee doesn't have a state tax anymore either.
Doesn't have any more tax.
Mm-mm.
Okay, but a lot of the people that wrestlers live in this Florida. They make it more simpler, and you could collaborate more with NXT.
Yeah.
He did tell us that he wanted to do kind of a performance center when we interviewed Carlos Silva. Check out our interview on the Sports Jedi Network with Carlos Silva when we spoke and asked him about something similar. Like that's a good question to ask, to follow up and asking. Do you think it's in 2020? And we're in the streaming era. Everything is live. There's no excuses to be for any combat wrestling or any sport, any type of sport, if you want to consider a sport or whatever, they shouldn't be. They should be live. They should be live. They should be live, and there is no excuse. They WNBA is live. They put it on TV. Women's hockey live. They put it. They have a. It's time for TNA to start going live. Even if it's, and I even compromise every other week. They should go live every other week. Every other week they should be live. And now you said, Chris, they should do a live, whether the arena, the when they go to the pay-per-view site, then they'll get the arena for Thursday night live, and then they go back to the taping. And I wouldn't mind that as well, Chris. I wouldn't mind that, but
I agree 100%. No, it is. That's that. In my opinion, that's what it is, especially with their viewing and their 9-11.
That's another rough one. And
that is a rough one. Like yesterday. Yeah, and yesterday I watched it late, and I watched it the rest of it this morning. Obviously, the Steelers were on, so Thursday Night Football's not going to help them either during that time slot. So, I mean, that's why they got to be live. That's another reason they need to be live. They want to be they want to be big time players. They're going to have to compete with the big time players. They have to be live.
Yeah,
not just for yeah.
Because then you might captivate people to watch it on Thursday night if it's live every week. Well, it's live. Let me watch it. Let me see what happened. Or I missed something out because I'll just rewind. But even though in the age now with DVR and apps, you can watch it later. Like I did watch the main event. I didn't stay up for the main event. I actually, as soon as I saw the Knockouts title change and win, I tweeted out to Mag and I went right to sleep and I watched it when I came home from work earlier. And before we went live, I finished it because it's just late. That's why we would love to go immediately after the show ends to give our live reaction. First of all, I'm not on the West Coast like Denise Salcedo, where she could go live because she's on the West Coast. It's 3 hours difference. We're on the East Coast, and we get up at 3 o'clock, 4 in the morning. That's a lot for us to stay until 11, and then if we do a stream until 12, 12:30. Look, Tuesday nights, Wednesday mornings, I suffer a little because we stay Tuesday night after NXT, and that gets out at 10. We don't get off sometimes around 11, 11:30, 11:45. Hey, that's what I signed up for. I want to do it. But it's because it's immediately, freshly after the show. We want to do that with TNA, but it's a little late. But it is what it is. That's the TNA report. This is your Total Nonstop Jedi's. Don't forget to like and subscribe. A little program note. Tomorrow we will have our weekly wrestling, the Sports Jedi weekly wrestling. It's going to be all the preview matchups of the big pay-per-view PLEs of the weekend. We'll talk a little news and notes, which wrestlers are going where. Rumors are here. Who set that fire next to Wembley? If it was the feds or who or what?
It was them testing the pyro, like Cornette said. I believe it.
Testing the pyros, or somebody laid a hot one in the toilet. I don't know what, but we will do all that discussions. We'll find out if Ilya Dragunov Maybe it was him. Maybe he was breathing some hot
It
air.
was MJF for not being in the main event. Damn it, Tony.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about why is he carrying on a title around that he's not even champion. He lost. We got to talk about Will Ospreay, people are living rent free on that turkey's head. And we'll roast it tomorrow. We'll roast him tomorrow. And don't forget, we will immediately following All Elite Wrestling, All In, the Dynamite Bros. These two gentlemen will go live immediately to review, break down the biggest night of AEW's of the year from Wembley. They will be reviewing that. Me and Mr. Jeff Littman, the Padawan, 2/3 of the Padawan Awakening, will be doing the reviews on NXT Heatwave, as well as AAA Ola de Calor. And then don't forget, the whole week starts all over again. Monday, MLW Files with the one and only Mr. Jeff Littman and Mr. Thomas from MLW as well. They'll be breaking it down. Of course, the Padawan Awakening, the fallout of Heatwave on Tuesday nights, along with the Garden of Thoughts on Wednesdays. Of course, the Dynamite Bros each and every Wednesday night after Dynamite. Then, of course, the NXT time with D-Walk. He does his reviews of NXT, his version as well as separate from the Padawan Awakening. The PUWF with Evolve, they review all the Evolve as well. They'll be breaking that down as well as their Saturday night wrestle talk with the PWF. They'll be on Saturday nights as well. So all that and more on the Sports Jedi Network channel. And where in the world is Luke Menzies? Luke Menzies, you're disappeared. He's like Carmen Sandiego. Where is he? Hopefully he'll be back and we'll do some no character with Luke Menzies. So with that said, guys, have a wonderful night. We'll talk to you later.
It's still real to me, damn it. I mean, thank you.
Take it easy, man.
Thank y'all guys. Y'all are awesome.